Welcome back to JRG Guitars Up to Date, another episode in our Explorer style build. Today is a big day as we will get finish on the guitar coming right at you. Alright, well thank you for tuning back into JRG Guitars. In our last episode we married the neck and body, and today we will clean up after that setting of the neck, and we will put a base coat on and the top coat of crackle finish. I did do 2 crackle finishes on this as the first one didn't come out so great, so I sanded it back and went after it again, and I left it all in here on the video so you can see my trials and tribulations going forward. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. I hope you enjoy the episode. Alright, so the first thing we start off with here is needing to remove these inserts that are actually holding in the bridge and the tailpiece. So I stack up some washers and then I put the screw in there and just thread it, and as it goes in it actually lifts that insert out, and the big washer that I have there makes sure that the actual finish does not get marred. So I get that first one off and then hit through and get the rest of the 3 off. Then I go in here and have to clean up where my dowel was. So I just tape off the rest of the guitar body around it, come in with my rotary tool and scarf some off, and then hit it with a little bit of a file and some sandpaper and get it nice and clean so we're ready to go and apply finish. Coming in here with a little Scotch-Brite pad. So you may notice something slightly different about the guitar. That's right, there is a coat of black paint on it. Due to some technical issues, I did not capture me spray painting the black on the guitar. But nevertheless, I go through and scuff up the finish so that I can apply more finish after that. And after hitting it with the Scotch-Brite, I come in with some sandpaper and just get a little bit more off with a little sanding block. So here we go here with the headstock as well. I cannot forget about that. We're going to do the same process here and scuff that up and see what areas might need addressing. So as I look here, I've sanded back some black. I didn't burn through to any wood at all. So this is a nice coat that I can probably sand a little bit more, maybe to 320, call it good, ready for the next coat. We will do that to the rest of the body as well. Alright, so after some sanding, it's then time for the actual showpiece time of putting the next black coat on, where then the crackle will go on shortly after that. It's a process of 3 coats of black. While it's still a little bit wet, I hit the crackle. So I need to make sure the guitar is completely prepped. Here we are, ready for our actual paint job. So I've taped up the cavity, painstakingly put some tape and cut it off on a clean edge around the rim, because I don't want this to build too much to where then my cavity cover plate won't fit in there well, and then I would have to round it and fit it, which I just want to avoid that. So I've taped it there. I'll be able to take that tape off. This cavity, which is for the 9-volt battery, it's not recessed. That has a lip that will sit around the edge. This is already taped off. That's all masking on the inside there, so I'll be able to take all of that off when the time comes. I have taped around here because the neck is completely taped. I want that to be just plain wood, so that's completely taped off on the back of the neck and the front of the fretboard. I will flip the guitar over. I can see here that my inside cover for my pickups has been taped and ready to go. These are blocked off with some paper down in there so I don't get a bunch of paint and other stuff in there. Just on the edge I'll be able to clean that up. This is the top side of the cavity cover, and you can see these are blocked off because I have a piece of tape on the back side there. And again, the front of the fretboard completely taped, and then along my edge here we are taped off so that I can paint here. Then we'll peel all this off, do a little sand here, and then the back of the neck will all be just unfinished, no stain, no dye, no paint, nothing. So we're just about there. I've fixed some holes with a little bit of epoxy and then sanded it back, so this is very flush right here. The guitar looks to be ready to go. Next step, setting up for paint. All right, so here we are out in the spray booth. So I do an initial coat, a real dusting coat, very light. I let the guitar sit for about 10 or 15 minutes, put a second coat on, give it another maybe 15 minutes or so, and hit it with a third coat, and then it's time for the crackle. So here we are with my crackle spray paint. I am going to run a timer here in the lower corner so you can see how quickly this paint sets up. So I have the guitar down and I'm just painting the top, and you can see it really fans out and covers the whole area. It just kind of gets everywhere. I have a mask on to protect myself. And here I move the tripod in and put it down, and you can see just how quickly it's setting up. Now I did speed up the footage here, but left the timer in real time, so you can see here we are 3 to then 4 minutes in, and the crackle really developing. I then flipped the guitar over, had some difficulty there, but got it flipped over and painted the top side and the actual edges of the guitar, trying not to get it on the back that I had already finished, because I don't want to get the crackle finish on that when it's already started to set up. So again, I move the tripod in, angle it down, and I'll speed up this footage, and you can kind of watch in real time as I'm sped up here, the crackle developing. And it's a very quick progress. You have to have yourself ready to go or it'll get away from you. Came out really nice. The sides are the problem, so this didn't get coated very well right there. The top actually came out well, but the bottom did not. They had a little bit of a run, as we can kind of see right in that area. Focus, yeah, it ran a little bit there. I just don't know if touching that up is going to work, because I'd have to sand that back. So we're going to let it dry and we'll see how we do. Well, we didn't do very well, so I sanded the whole thing off. And now I have a fixture that I've put together that enables me to have the guitar locked here, and I can just spin it around to, in one shot, get everything painted, learning from my trial run, and now be set up ready to go. So I sanded off all that white, got down in a few spots to bare wood, so I start with black. Again, I go in with a little dust coat, 10 or 15 minutes, hit it with a second coat, and then another 15 minutes or so, a third coat, let it sit for maybe about an hour, and then hit it with that crackle. So I'm set up and ready to go, because the stuff will work fast, and if I'm not set and ready, that crackle is going to start to crack, and I won't be ready for it. So here I am with my mask on, and we're ready to go again with white. I'm going to run a timer on there again so you can see how quickly this sets up. So I had learned from my mistakes. I knew in that little horn it didn't get covered very well, so I was very conscious to make sure I covered that. And then I go through and I hit the top of it, and I'll get the sides, and I really try to get the coverage complete, because you really cannot go back after it has started to set up. And it is setting up already right now, just 30 seconds in, and it's starting to crack, it's starting to dry very quickly. So as you can see, I'm able to sort of spin and turn that guitar to get it in the position I want, shaking the can every so often to make sure it stays mixed. And we're just going through trying to get all the sides done. The top is now pretty much done, and then I'll flip it over and get the back. And you can see we're just under a minute in, and you can kind of start to see the crackle developing already. So here we are on the back, and we're just going to get this coated. For the most part, the sides are about as done as they're going to get. And here you can see perfect from that view right there that a minute and just over a minute, and it's already starting to crackle.
So you have to be ready to go with this stuff. It dries very quickly and starts to set up. So there we are, just under 1 minute and 40 seconds, and I have sprayed all that is going to get sprayed. There's a couple areas where it goes through your mind. You think, I wish I would have got that a little bit thicker, but there's no time to go back and get on it now because it's starting to set and it's all you're going to have, and sometimes less is more and you have to kind of stop.
Here is the guitar now a week out from that crackle paint. I wanted to give it a tremendous amount of time because I had to have the undercoat dry, the black, and then I wanted the white to dry as well. It really came out well. The crackle has big and large spots to it, very sort of organic looking. Really happy with it. But I will discuss a few areas and the plan of what I want to have going forward. So my junction here between neck and body really looks nice. The paint came right up to it. I had a couple of bleed through spots. And here with the guitar turned over, you can see them where it bled through a little bit here. I think some sanding will definitely take care of that. I had a couple of areas up here on the headstock. Now here is the headstock upside down, so the crackle is here on the underside, and you can see I had a little bit of black bleed through right here. But what I want to do first is get a couple of coats of clear on the guitar first, so as I'm doing some of the sanding, I don't risk damaging this. I want to lock it in. It has a very dry feel to it. It certainly is not gloss feeling at all. It's very matte feeling, and it's rough. You can feel where it cracked. It definitely needs to get locked in, and then I will be able to sort of address those other areas without fear of marring up the crackle that I have created, because I'm very happy with it. So that's the plan going forward. A few coats of clear and we'll get going. Well, there it is at the end of the episode, and we've got our crackle finish on, and it sure looks great. So up next will be efforts to seal that in, get a nice clear coat on there, and then sand and clear and sand and buff and polish and make this thing look great. All the finishing touches with the electronics and the hardware and everything else yet to come, but that will be down the road. So thank you very much for tuning in here to this episode. I appreciate you staying in here to the end of the video. And I'd ask you to consider, if you're liking the videos, if you enjoy this type of content, to go ahead and hit the like button, press the subscribe button, and ring that bell for future notifications so I'll be able to let you know the next time a video is coming out for you. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next time on JRG Guitars.
JRG Guitars.